What's up, everybody? Stop number 5 of the Bassmaster Elite Series 2021 season. Lake Fork, Texas. Legendary, famous, all those good words. This is going to be the day 1 recap. Little rundown of practice real quick, like I always do. I think everybody knew going into the tournament there was going to be a lot of sight fish caught. There were bass literally all over the bank, everywhere on the lake. It was going to depend on what rotation you got in, what boat number you got, if you were going to be able to, start on a couple bigger ones, or, there was a bunch of stuff going into it. My main plan was to sight fish and to throw a jerk bait and a top water and fish a little bit of bank stuff, like swim jigging and frog and stuff like that. Just kind of mix a whole lot of stuff up. So day 1, I started on a sight fish that obviously I went to the fish. I couldn't see it. It was early. Couldn't get it to bite. Went and started running some points. Caught a couple on a jerk bait, suspending jerk bait. One of them I think was like a 3-pounder. Day wasn't really going very well. I was kind of scrambling around a little bit. Thought I was going to catch a lot more off the points than I did. But there was a lot of, you was kind of playing leapfrog with everybody. Like somebody would be on this one, you'd go the next one, then they'd go the next one, then somebody else would be on the next one. So it was pretty, not aggravating because there's just so many fish in the lake. You're going to catch some most of the time wherever you're at. It just depends on if you're going to get a good bite or not most of the time. Got a little bit later into the day, I went and started doing some sight fishing. I went to some that I'd seen on the bed, really just I knew there was a lot of fish in those areas, just see what anglers were on these fish, if there was, guide pressure, local pressure here and there. And the problem with Fork is getting into these places takes so long. So you really, in an 8-hour tournament, you're probably only fishing 5 hours because it takes literally 30 minutes to idle back through all this timber and stuff. A few of the places you can run, a few of them, I'm not going to run my boat through it anyway. Sight fished around a little bit, caught some decent ones, some 3.5, 3 3/4 pounders. Went back to the fish that I'd started on, ended up catching it. It was a good one. It was a 5-pounder. And then luckily, I was kind of scrambling around a little bit, and right before weigh-in, I went and hit another, one of those long running points, and actually caught another, I think it was a 4-14 or a 4, right at almost a 5-pounder again, to cull out a 2, I think, a 2 something. So, a big cull, it makes it look like the day went pretty good, or I felt like I had a pretty good day anyway. I knew it was tougher than it looked on paper to me, but all in all still had a decent weight, I thought, until we got back to weigh-in. And the format of the Lake Fork tournament is, Lake Fork has this slot limit where you have a 16-inch to a 24-inch slot, and any fish inside that slot you can't keep. So in our tournament, the format that we did is you catch it, weigh it, release it. That way we don't have to worry about catching one under the slot or catching some over the slot to be able to take the weigh in. So everything we catch that's over, I think our thing was 14 inches. Anything over 14 inches we could weigh. So that's why that format was. So when you came back to weigh in, unless you caught one over 24, or you could bring one of those in, then basically not a whole lot of people would bring fish to the weigh-in. So they'd call our weight out when we got on stage. We just wouldn't have any fish with us. They were all written down on our scorecard. But got back, was able to look at Bass Track, and Bass Track's going to be basically pretty accurate in a tournament like this. And we had 1911 for a total, and I was in 39th place, tied for 39th with Brandon Lester, I believe. So you got to think about it, I'm 5 ounces away from having a 20-pound bag, and I'm in the top 40, like barely inside the top 40. So that just shows what kind of fishery this place is, and what kind of caliber of anglers that I'm fishing against. Having 1911 is not a bad bag. We're still inside the cut, barely. Take the top 49, I think. We're going to fish in this tournament on day 3. So going into day 2, know that I had to catch them just as good, or hopefully catch them just as good to stay where I'm at, and hopefully not fall much. Knew it was probably going to be a tougher day 2, but we're going to go out there and give it as good a shot as we can, and we'll see you guys on the day 2 recap. I'd say it's bigger than a 214. ways.
I'm trying to flip it.